Hey everyone. So today I'm going to be doing a Beth Ditto look. I don't do celebrity looks. It's not really something that has interested me up until now, really. Like there's a few times I might see someone in a magazine and I think their makeup's wicked or whatever, but I'm just not that pushed to recreate it. But one person who fascinates me is Beth Ditto. I'm not a fan of the gossip. If I was to hear, or if one of their songs was to hit me across the face, I wouldn't have a clue it was, you know, the gossip. So it's nothing to do with the music. I really don't have a clue who they are music-wise. But I can't help but take note of Beth Ditto herself, as you see her in fashion magazines and style magazines and makeup magazines and music magazines all the time. And apart from her size, her actual face is really, really pretty. But it just fascinates me because she really does ugly herself down a lot. I'm personally a fan of eyebrows. I couldn't live without mine. And you know, she does so much with her face, good and bad. I'm just so used to seeing pictures of her looking awful, and then you also, every now and again, you see a picture of her with just crazy class makeup on and she just looks fantastic. So I've decided I want to do a few looks of her with this class makeup. Now, I don't want to be blathering on too much, so with that out of the way, the picture for this look is going to be on my blog. There'll be a link to it in the sidebar, and I'll also list the products that I used. And okay, so I started off, her own complexion, she's so pale. I think she's even paler than me, and she has no freckles. She's just very, very porcelain skinned. So I used quite a heavy base here to try, and heavier than normal, to try and block out the freckles a bit more. And I have this eye done just eyeshadow. So for this, I am using Kohl's Emotional eyeshadow. It's kind of a taupey eyeshadow. I'm just going to draw in that shape now, this kind of S shape. Okay, so for this, I used a pencil brush and using really, really light pressure, I'm getting that Kohl eyeshadow and drawing in the bottom. You can see it's kind of like an S shape, so it just here, just above my crease line, and then brings it up towards the top of the eye. I'm staying pretty true to how her own makeup is exactly in the picture, but because of my eye shape, I've had to tweak a few things. Like her eyebrows drawn on are just higher up here on the inner part, so you know it's not going to be the exact same space there and everything, but it's pretty similar. So draw the shape in, concentrating on the bottom line. Only raise your eyebrows once you have the shape in, and then you can go over the line if you need to. And really use the tip of this brush. So to do that, you really have to make sure you don't apply too much pressure. And then for the flick at the end, just flick it up to where you imagine your eyebrow to end. What I'm doing next is I'm getting the kind of white here, and it's from this Isadora quad I have. So it's that white, and I'm using this for the highlight and for the lower lid colour. So I'm just applying that. It's quite heavy here on the inner corner as well. And then all here. And do your highlight with it as well, so you know, kind of bring the highlight down to where that flick ends. I'll be filling in the eyebrows again in a wee while. So for this kind of gunmetal metallic silver, I'm using a L'Oreal Black Pearl. It's like this, and again just using the same brush. I'm pretty much using the same brush for most of this. I'm going to go over the bottom section of that shape I've already drawn. And I just need to emphasize it's a light hand I'm using here, so that it's the tip of the brush doing the work, not any of the rest of it. And then you can kind of just soften it up a little bit with whatever's left on the brush. So that's kind of enough with that one. And then get a light, this is from L'Oreal again, and it's real silver, a really light silver. Pop it on the same brush, and then I'm just softening, or kind of joining the highlight with the grey silver. And then just bringing it down here a little bit in the inner corner. Now in the picture I'm not 100% about this, but I think there's a bit of pink just there over that silver, and I like the idea of that. Whether there is or not, I can't really make it out, but I've decided to put that on anyhow. So I'm getting pink, a little bit of pink on the tip of a blending brush, and then again really softly applying that at the top. Just following that S shape the whole time. And this will kind of blend it as well. And also I think she has a little bit in here in the inner corner, but you know, this is just guesswork again because I can't really fully make it out. So I'm getting a tiny wee bit of the pink on the pencil brush. I'm barely touching my skin to try and lay down the smallest amount. So now for the crazy eyeliner. Get your eyeliner, and then it's fairly thick, you can see, so just lay it down initially and then you can start building the shape up. So with the basic shape on, now you can start building the rest of it up. So the flick is pretty high, it goes to just underneath where the eyeshadow is. I'm bringing mine higher up than Beth's own one because her eyebrows are brought down way further at the end and my eyebrows just can't do that. So like I said, I'm just tweaking this every now and again to suit myself. And then fill that in at the bottom. Next I'm just lining the waterhead top and bottom. Now I'm just extending the inner line down a little bit, like that. And for under the eyelid, the bottom lid, I'm not a fan of using eyeliner there. I just find it's much easier to use powder to get between the lashes. So I'm starting off by using a black powder, just an eyeshadow, and fill in that area. Then with the eyeshadow in place, I'm going to go back in with my eyeliner and then fill in the inner corner, which is like that, kind of triangular. And I'm just kind of filling in along the bottom. So now for the straight outline, I don't really have a guideline, I'm just hoping I get them quite similar, and I think that's fine. If you want, you could draw it in with just a regular pencil till you get it exactly where you want it, and then go in with the liner. Beth herself has very graphic angular brows for a big change in this makeup look, so I'm trying to make them look quite thin and archy. So I'm using a black eyebrow pencil and just slowly draw it in. You want there to be an angle at the top, and kind of just angle it down towards where the flick ends. Pop on some mascara. Now she has mascara or false lashes on her lower lashes for sure. I mean, they're crazy long, but I think I'm just going to pop on mascara. And you can obviously go as heavy on the mascara application as you want, because you know there's so much black behind it, it's going to be hard to catch anyhow. So I mean, you could use really long lashes with this, false lashes. Focus on the ends of the lashes because you're not going to see the roots anyhow. So it doesn't make a blind bit of difference whether you get them into the root or not. just run it along the bottom. With her blush, she has it applied really oddly. She has it on the up in here in the temples, and then just in like a patch here around the back of the ear. So I'm going to use two colour pinks. It's a very, very vivid pink she used, but it can be tricky applying such a vivid colour. So I'm going to start off by applying a much less vivid pink, a dusky pink. My hair out of the way. First of all, just apply it into the hairline. And then up over around the ear area. And then I'm going to apply the brighter pink closer to the hairline, and then just kind of so it fades into the other pink. And now I'm just going to draw in the lip line. So I have I put some concealer on my lips beforehand. It's just usually a good idea for when you're using crazy colours. And sometimes I like to just fill in the body of the lips first and then work on the outline afterwards. I made the pink as well of the blush less blocky. But for here I'm just drawing in, it's just staying close to my own lip shape. So she's a really noticeable dip, a very defined dip in her Cupid's bow. So it's quite a cartoony shape. And that's why it's good to conceal beforehand, because at least then you can't see the parts of the lip you're leaving all drawn. So there you go, that's it all finished. That's my Beth Ditto crazy graphic kind of futuristic makeup look. This was the makeup she wore to her Beth Ditto for Evan's launch party. And like I said, I just think it's a really fun, crazy, kooky, class look. You can put a bit of lipstick on over this if you want, but there's loads of colour with this lip liner. And that's it. So yeah, I'm going to be doing another Beth Ditto look again soon enough. And for the meantime, check out the blog for list of products and her pictures. And that's it. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.